I am here now, right now, with you. I'm very glad that you are here. If you've been watching these videos, you know that I spend a lot of time really focusing on letting go of the past, shedding our regrets and resentments so we can just be here. It's hard to be present in the moment, whether we're meditating or just living life, when we're constantly being pulled back to the past by these memories that cause us pain or resentment or anger or regret. They're constantly being yoinked away rather than allowed to just be here in the present. But if we can forgive those memories and those moments in our past, then when they come back, well, we can be aware that they're there, but they're not going to yank us anywhere. We're still here in the moment. Oh, hello, memory. I remember you. I'm still here right now with you. That is one reason why I really focus on this. And there is a philosophy that I heard from a man named Alan Watts, a very wise individual. He gave a lecture probably in the 70s, a long time ago. And I heard this philosophy. It's not his philosophy, though. It's a Taoist philosophy that dates back a long time. And I call it it's just my name for it, is the philosophy of the lush field in spring. Now, before I get into it, the reason I'm going into this is I think this philosophy can be applied in our lives to help us get rid of these memories and stuff that we want to get rid of. We just haven't been able to yet. When people live rent-free in our heads, it's like, I want to just move on. I don't want to get angry or sad every time I think about this. I want to just let it go. But we can't. I know that feeling. Well, if you actually do have this desire to shed it, it's just really difficult. I found when I used this perspective, it became much easier. So who knows? Maybe it'll work for you. So imagine for a moment. Oh, really fast. Hang on. I have to remind you to like and subscribe, I guess. Click whatever buttons there are, because apparently the algorithms don't show me to people. I'm way too small time. So, everybody's got to help me out. So if you think someone would benefit, give it a share, give it a like, give it a subscribe, all that jazz. Okay, great. Here we go. I want you to imagine for a moment that you are walking through nature. You're on a hike through wilderness. And you make your way through some brush, and you come upon the most beautiful, perfect, lush field in spring you could possibly imagine. There's flowers as far as the eye can see, multicolored or just fireworks show, and crisscrossing vegetation, the hum of life of insects, buzzing bees, bumbling butterflies, birds tweeting, the whole shebang. And it's perfect. It's not like a manicured garden where there might be, a hedge, square hedges over here. And here's where the tulips go, and here's where the marigolds go. No, this is just nature at its best, growing exactly as it should. And it's perfect. There's no right or wrong. And then there's the flowers. My whole life, I would look at flowers like, oh, look, a flower, that's nice, and then just move on. I had no idea how incredible flowers really could be until just recently. We have this rose bush in the backyard, and while I'm working, kind of pontificating on how I'm going to make these videos, I walk back and forth by this bush. I kind of have a relationship with a lot of these little guys now, these blossoming roses. And I see them when they're little, and then I watch their whole cycle, and the next thing I know, they're saying goodbye. And I found that if I just take a minute and just stare into a rose, breathe deep, and for a good 60 seconds, just look, I can get completely lost in there. I see a new layer of profundity and depth and color I didn't know was possible. It's a microcosm of how absolutely stunning and perfect the universe can be when it wants to. And yet, you're not looking at one flower, you're looking at a whole ocean of them in this field. a fireworks display of the universe at its absolute most perfect. But we know, don't we, that this beautiful field in spring is not just the pretty stuff on top, is it? It's also the darkness and the muck underneath. It's the soil and dirt, the worms and writhing insects. It's the poop and scat. It's the crisscrossing roots competing for resources. It's the death and decay, entropy of the previous winter. It's all rolled in to this fertile cocktail, this absolutely perfect soil from which this beauty can grow. And if you went through this soil and said, well, I wish this winter hadn't been so cold, or I wish I could get rid of this thing that happened here, and let's go ahead and get rid of some of the stuff I didn't really enjoy very much, so that way my memories are easier. Well, looking back, you'll have an easier time. But here in the now, you would not have this lush field. You would have an arid plot of land, because you would have nothing from which your garden, your vegetation can grow. It is everything that happened that makes up that perfect soil that is you. All the poop that we had to go through, all the poop you had to claw your way through, well, what is that? That's fertilizer. It's actually what made us grow. So I know it's very easy when we're viewing the past from this perspective of, the John Doe, Jane Doe experience, right? The ego. And I don't mean that, in a derogatory way. The persona that we're playing, the mask. Persona is, person is from the Latin persona, which is the mask the actor wears. Okay, so this mask we're playing, the John Doe mask. Yes, I have all sorts of memories and feelings attached to those memories. And, it's very easy to say, well, I remember that jerk, and oh, I wish they hadn't done this, and oh, why did they break my heart? Of course, because I lived that experience. It's part of the human experience. But also, there's more to this experience. So it's okay to use that, perspective. Gets us through the day, does what we need it to do, but it's also really beneficial to take that perspective off for a minute and look at ourselves using the perspective of our actual heart, our light, that endless source of love within you that is dying to give love to everyone. And wants to scream to the world, I love you, love me. And it gets through the whole experience and the whole persona, and by the time it gets through everything that we've ever experienced in our life, and it comes out, hey, do you want to get some coffee? Hi, you want to go out for a drink? Because we can't just let it shine. But we can still look at ourselves through that perspective. We can still see ourselves through the eyes of that entity of love that is behind those eyes. And that perspective knows you are perfect now. Everything that got you here had to happen to make you, you. That's not to say you're done changing. You're still evolving. A garden, a rose that stops growing is not alive. That's a dried rose. So this garden, when I see it now, it is perfect. But when I come back in 3 months and it is a summer garden, it will be perfect then. And no spring or summer plant looks back at the winter with regret. They are thankful for the winter, because without the winter, there is no spring. And I think if there are memories that you want to let go, you're sick of them living rent-free, and you're sick of them pulling you back, when you use this perspective and look at yourself as you really are, not from the viewpoint of this human experience, from the viewpoint of your soul, your love, and you see you're perfect, those memories aren't going to have that power. You might find this strange shift where you're actually thankful for them. Because without those memories, this soil doesn't exist. And that little perspective has legitimately changed my life. For the first time in my whole life, I love myself. I love myself because I am perfect. There's things I'm going to work on. There's things I'm trying to get better at. And I will. Later on, while I'm working on them, I'll be perfect. And when I do it, I'll be perfect then too. I love you. Thanks for watching this. I hope this helps. You are incredible. And the real you behind those eyes, the embodiment of love, God in disguise, it is dying for you to see how it views you. It's dying for you to start using that perspective. Because when you start using that perspective as much as you can, life gets fun. We'll see you next time.